All right, here we go. On to the last set of word problems, solving them through a system of equations. This should be on your worksheet on mixture problems. And again, same with the one where we did money. Do the work on the back. Okay, I didn't double-side them. It takes a lot of work. You can see I kind of have, I'm about to draw a picture. I'll be honest, my pictures get a little ugly, but I think it'll still kind of serve its purpose here, and I'll kind of keep it basic. You kind of look at this. I kind of have, I guess you could say, 3 glasses or 3 beakers, okay? Within these glasses or beakers, we're going to mix certain solutions together, okay? Now, if I read this, okay, let's make sense of it first. It's saying if we have a solution that's 12% brine, and then we mix it with another solution that's 16% brine, it produces a 15% solution that's brine. And that kind of makes sense. If you take something that's 12% and something that's 16% the same and you mix them together, well, it can't be more than the 16%. It can't be less than the 12%. In this case, it's saying it's 15%. Now, I'm going to say this first beaker, this was the 12% mix. I'm going to say the second beaker was the 15% mix. Okay, follow me here. Whoops, actually, this is the 16%. And then when you mix those together, it produces a solution that's 15%. Notice how I have a bigger beaker here for the equals, because I'm mixing the first 2 beakers together. Now, when you look at this, it's real important to know that if you have something that's 12% and something that's 16%, and you mix them together, and you get something that's 15%, you have to have more of the 16%, because this is closer to 16 than 15 being close to 12. So when I draw this picture, I'm going to put like a little water level here. I told you it's ugly. And then 16% is going to be a little bit more. All right, so just look at it. It makes sense. I have more water in the second beaker because it's going to produce a solution that's more than 14%, which is exactly halfway between 12 and 16. Now, if I read the question, it says how much of the 12% solution and how much of the 16% solution were used to produce 40 liters of the 15% solution. Now, this is real important, the 40 liters. Where do we put that? So I'm going to make this, here's the level when I mix them together. When you mix them together, both beakers, it gives us 40 liters. So what I need to find is how many liters do I have of the 12% and how many liters do I have of the 16% solution? So the quantity of the liters is the unknown, the x and the y. Now, let's look at that right here. I know if I'm just dealing with liters, this really gives me my first equation, x plus y. When you mix these up, it gives us 40 liters. So that's our first equation, x plus y equals 40 liters. Then the second equation is a little bit more difficult to get. This is where we have to use the percentages. And now think of it, if you had, think of it, if I had, let's say x was 100. If I had 100 liters and 12% of it was brine solution, if you did 12% times 100, it would give you 12. So what this is telling you, this is where it's very similar when we did the money problems, when you multiply these. Now, instead of just using 12x, 12% as a decimal is 0.12. So I'm going to have 0.12x. And then we have plus, and then we have 16% of y. Well, that's 0.16 times y. So I'm going to have 0.16y. Now, let's look at the last beaker here. This is our last mixture. This is our result. It's saying basically you have 40 liters in that last beaker. 15% of it is 40 liters. So if I multiply, I'm going to multiply it again, just like I did for the other 2 beakers. So it's 0.15 times 40. Now do that on your calculator right now. When you do that on your calculator, I believe that gives you 6. I'm just going to double check on my calculator. 0.15 times 40, that gives me 6. All right, so what that means is in this last beaker, out of the 40 total liters, only 6 of them are brine. 6 out of 40 is 15%. So let's put the 2 equations. Right, I'm going to have x plus y equals 40. And then for the second one, it's 0.12x plus 0.16y equals 6. Because 0.15 times 40 gave us 6. All right, like I said before, with all these word problems, that's the toughest part, getting the solutions. And as goofy and as ugly as my drawings are, for me it helps because it kind of puts me in the situation that I'm taking two glasses or two beakers and I'm mixing them together, and then this is what I'm going to end up with. All right, now when I do this one right here, I'm not going to use elimination because I have this 0.12 and 0.16. This is real easy right here, okay? I'm going to get one of these by itself. I'm going to get this y by itself. So I'm going to use substitution for this. Could you use elimination? Yes, you could. But I'm going to use substitution because we've been doing mostly elimination so far. So when I solve for this, I'm going to have y equals, well, when I move the x over, I have to subtract it. So it's going to be y equals negative x plus 40. Now that quantity, the negative x plus 40, I'm going to plug into this y. So it's going to become 0.12x plus 0.16 times y, which we figured out is this, negative x plus 40. And then this equals 6. You can already see how this is a lot of work. This is a lot of thinking going on. Okay, take that calculator out because you have ugly decimals. Let's see, I'm just going to bring down the 0.12x. Then I'm going to have, when you distribute 0.16 to negative x, you get minus 0.16x. And 0.16 times 40, what's that give us? 0.16 times 40, that gives us 6.4. So it's plus 6.4 equals 6. Okay, I can combine these, 0.12x minus 0.16x, that gives me negative 0.04x, plus 6.4 equals 6. Okay, I just have two more steps to get x by itself. I'm going to subtract 6.4. That goes away. Subtract 6.4 here. So I'm going to be left with negative 0.04x equals 6 minus 6.4 is negative 0.4. And then we divide both sides by this negative 0.04. You can squeeze it in here. That cancels. Divide this by negative 0.04. And we're going to get x, which I'll put up here. So if I put that in, let's see here, negative 0.4 divided by negative 0.04, that gives me 10. Now 10 what? Is that percentage? Well, if I look at it, let's go back to the setup. 10, if I put back in here, this is the amount. So there's 10 total liters in here. So if I have 10 total liters here, I mix it with this, and it's got to equal 40 liters, well, this has to be 30. The other way of doing this, I could take 10, plug it into here. So you're going to have y equals negative 10 plus 40, which gives you 40. Excuse me, which gives you 30. So I'm going to put y equals 30. And it makes sense. I have more, y is 30, I have more of the solution that's 16% because this percentage is closer to 16 than it is to 12. So make sure I'll put liters. So you have 10 liters of the 12% brine solution and 30 liters of the 15% brine solution. Okay, this is definitely probably one of the more difficult things you'll do this year. So if you don't understand it, I would maybe rewatch the video, go back, rewind it, look at the certain parts that you don't understand. We'll definitely do a couple examples of this in class before you guys are on your own working with your partners on the worksheet. Ciao.